everybody, Macy here. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the things that I wish that I had known before starting a small sticker business, because if I'd known these, I would have saved myself a lot of money and a lot of time. I'll probably turn this into a mini-series just because I have so many tips to give, and I think putting them all in one video would be a little too long. Thanks to this video's sponsor. Later in the video, I'll show you how I made this using the Cricut Maker and the Cricut Design Space. Just some background, I've had 3 Etsy shops since 2012-2013. The first was when I used to sell prints of my drawings. The second was with my Disney ears, and my most recent is with my vinyl sticker business, Molcano. Now these tips focus more on the sticker business aspect, though now that I think of it, it's pretty applicable for any small business. First, don't be afraid to price your products on the higher end as long as it's reasonable. Now, this may depend whether you have your own website, like on Shopify, Wix, and so on, and if you're on Etsy, you need to consider that Etsy is taking a small, if not pretty big fee from you. Long ago, back in high school, I didn't really account as to how much I was selling, as well as my cost of goods, and I think I was probably losing some money since it was at a lower price point. Pricing it too low doesn't mean that you're going to make more sales. If anything, you might get a different set of customers who probably don't value your work as much. Start an email newsletter. If you think about it, it's more important to have an email newsletter rather than having a social media presence in terms of generating more sales. Sadly, within my 3 businesses, I did not start an email newsletter until Molcano. I actually learned this from May of Creative Hive, in that no matter how big of a following you have on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and so on, you don't have full ownership of your audience because you're vulnerable to that particular social media platform's algorithm. Compared to an email newsletter where what you create and what you send off directly goes to that recipient, though there is a chance that it can go to the spam folder. Plus, what if Instagram were to shut down completely? Then if that's the only platform you're using and you don't have an email newsletter, it's totally over for you. Of course, you want to start out with a free option unless you do have the budget for it. And when I started out, I used to use MailChimp because the user interface was just really easy to use, especially when I first started on Etsy. But once I also moved on to Shopify and I was able to enforce that little pop-up where it would ask for customers' email addresses, I switched on to MailerLite. And I'm pretty sure those two have free options. I'm not quite sure the quantity of emails that you would have to hit in order to have to pay, but I'm currently on the free option. Don't be afraid to cut out anything that you don't want to do or is costing you. Now, this might be a bit of common sense, or it is common sense. But let me give you an example. In the beginning, I didn't generate a lot of sales, so in order to personalize my packaging, I like to doodle on my envelopes. After a while, as cute as they were, it took a lot of time, especially when I began to receive more orders, and it was just burning me out. And for the most part, I felt really bad because I enjoyed adding personality to these orders, but if it was at the cost of my sanity, it just wasn't worth it. And I feel that my customers still enjoyed my products regardless, so it was fine. In your case, maybe you don't want to keep making freebies because it's eating away at your profits. And if you can't afford to do so, but you want to continue offering it, perhaps increase the price of your products to make up for that cost, or just cut it out completely. It's up to you. Create a separate bank account to keep track of your Etsy expenses and profits. I only did this starting with Molcano, and I'm not really sure why I didn't do this earlier. And it doesn't have to be an official business account. I'm pretty sure there are those options whenever you go to the bank. But when you're starting out, it can be as simple as a personal checking account. I used to keep my Etsy profits and expenses in one account, and it was really difficult to keep my numbers in check. Having a separate account just keeps it in one little pile, plus you can make sure that the money spent on your business comes from the revenue that you made. As mentioned, I am so excited to be sharing with you all about the Cricut Maker. Honestly, I've been meaning to purchase like this exact model, this exact color. So I was beyond excited when Cricut came to me and said that they wanted to work with me because... So I thought I'd show you how I created this gorgeous tote bag. Like, I seriously cannot stop looking at it. It's just so beautiful. I'm using the Cricut Holographic iron-on along with the Cricut blank tote bag, which is compatible with infusible ink, which I'll talk about in a bit. First, I went on Cricut Design Space to find a graphic to use for the tote bag, and I was specifically looking for a cute quote. Essentially, Cricut Design Space is this platform where you have thousands of graphics available to you for a monthly fee, and it's also where you could create your projects to cut with the Cricut Maker. I chose Do What Makes You Happy, which would look amazing with a holographic effect. Before I decided to cut the actual vinyl, and because I wanted to make sure that I liked the size of the lettering, I sized it up on Design Space, then cut out the lettering on paper with the Cricut Maker. I like to do this with all of my projects just so I don't waste any vinyl. You're not just limited to cutting paper-like materials. The Cricut Maker can score through materials as delicate as Chantilly lace, fabric, to even thicker materials such as denim, felt, corduroy, poster board, and so much more. Not only can the Cricut Maker cut materials, it has the ability to draw, score, deboss, engrave, and create perforations and wavy lines. This machine is really a great value if you love DIY projects and is such a great investment for years to come. Once I'm happy with the layout, I cut out a small piece of the holographic vinyl and carefully attach it to the mat, shiny side down. And super important, make sure your design is mirrored. Emphasis on mirrored, because if you don't choose this option, it will look backwards when you cut it out. I chose a material, and in this case, it is exactly the holographic vinyl iron-on, and let the Cricut Maker do its thing. And now one of my favorite parts is to peel off the vinyl to reveal the letters. Super satisfying. Moving on, since there's a variety of small and large vinyl pieces, I start out using my fingers to peel off the vinyl and use a weeding tool to get the smaller pieces. I mean, just look at this, it's gorgeous. At this point, I'm using a Cricut EasyPress mat, and I'm warming up the EasyPress too, so it's ready when my iron-on is all set. It's really convenient how you can set the temperature and the timer with this, and the way the plating is, it allows it to distribute the heat evenly, compared to a household iron. Now, depending on the materials you're using, the temperature and the timing will differ, so I referred to this information on Cricut's website, which you can access here, and it'll give you directions for whatever project you're working on. Once it's all hot, be careful when doing this, and iron out the tote bag so it's nice and set, then carefully place the vinyl over the desired area. I pressed on it to secure it slightly just so it doesn't slip. Place the hot EasyPress and add slight pressure until time is up. The instructions said to peel warm, so I waited until I could feel some warmth, but it wasn't enough to burn me, and slowly peeled off the remaining material. I've said this numerous times, but just look at how beautiful it turned out. As mentioned previously, Cricut also has the option of using infusible ink transfer sheets, which I tried with their ceramic coasters. After heating, you can see the ink is literally infused into the coaster, and there isn't any material that's like elevated on the ceramic. It's literally in there. As a small business owner and someone who just loves to craft, this machine makes my life so much easier. Plus, the possibilities are endless. I had my Cricut Maker ready to go within 30 minutes after opening the box, and I just love how it comes with sample paper to get you situated with the machine. Overall, I'm really excited to use this, not only for my small business, but also in my personal life. And I'm really excited to start out with creating cute customized shirts and tote bags, as well as 3-dimensional, super detailed greeting cards. So that's it for the rest of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.